Now, when it comes to doing your PC1, your safety part of your experiment planning, it's pretty easy. You simply have to talk to me about what type of things could occur that could actually happen and cause an accident, what could be the consequences, and how you're going to minimize this through your planning. So I'm just going to walk you through this here. To get a C, you simply have to show that you're considering the safety in a situation, or if you're dealing with animals, that you're considering how to look after them ethically and with humanity. So for a C, the I can statement is, I can identify an unsafe situation in an experiment. So can you actually point out to me how people are going to get hurt? So a good example of this is students may get chemicals in their eyes. That's an unsafe situation. To prove that you can do it, I would require that you have a minimum of 3 different unsafe situations that you point out in any given experiment. To take that up to a B, you need to be able to tell me the implications, or what's going to happen if an unsafe situation happens. So the I can statement is, I can describe what will happen if I don't follow the safety rules. Now, an example of that with the chemicals in the eyes is that you actually state not just that they get chemicals in their eyes, but that it will damage their vision. That's the implications. To take it up to an A, it's quite simple as well. You have to tell me how to manage those safety considerations. So on your sheet here, that's this column here. You're telling me how to minimize the chance of those problems happening through planning, through rules, through statements of how students are going to act and what they're going to do to avoid those accidents happening in the first place. So an example here would, students may get chemicals in the eyes, it'll damage their vision, that's that first column. The second column, you'd actually have to say what to do about it to avoid it. They'll need to wear safety glasses and, if you really want to go specific, not touch their eyes or rub their eyes when they may have chemicals on their hands. That's all you need to get an A, as long as you can show me 3 times that you can do that. Okay? Now the other side of this PC1 is also, can you talk about how you would handle animals in this situation? So it's not about human safety, it's about the animal safety. Here's some examples of how to do that from an ethical standpoint rather than a safety standpoint. Sea level. Animals will get too hot if they're left on a windowsill. That is recognizing or considering the ethics of what you're doing. Okay? 2. Can you tell me what would happen, the implication, if you do this with this animal? They'll get too hot and they'll develop heat stress. That's the implication. That's a B. C. How are you going to manage it? Animals will get too hot, they'll develop heat stress. How will I manage it? They'll need to be placed in a spot that receives sun only part of the day, and we'll monitor it to make sure that the tank or wherever the animal is being placed doesn't get too hot or cold. This is how you manage it to make sure the animal doesn't get stressed. Okay, and that's all you need to do in A. So it's pretty straightforward. You need to show it a minimum of 3 times in order to get the grade.